Hello, welcome back to Tech Now. Good. So we're gonna continue with the DAT tutorials, and then we're gonna look at how to actually implement exceptions in your code. You see, when people try to run your application, and then there's an error in the application, it can crash the whole application, and that is a bad user experience. So, if you are actually writing a program, you need to make sure you take care of all these errors and catch it in your exception so that it don't actually break your app when it is running, or it doesn't stop, and then it doesn't cause the application to stop working. Okay, so let's look at how to implement this. Okay, so we're gonna look at how to create the on exception, the try, catch, and the final, and then also how to create a custom exception for your applications. Okay, so let's start with a very simple example by having a list of numbers. So let's initialize it with a var keyword. Let me keep it in a small cap. So var, then we use the lists. So list of what? Numbers. So list is equal to, let's say, equal to 1, 2, let me get 2, sorry, 4, and then let me add a 5 to it. Okay, then I terminate the codes. Okay, so in this list, we're gonna actually use a simple condition to check how the try catch actually works on a application. So let's use the try keyword, try, like this. Then we have the parentheses, just like a function, and then inside our first try needs to have what we call the condition before we have the catch. So this is how it goes. We can use the print statement in here, and then let me leave it this way. Then the next one will be, after our try, we have another block, that is the catch block. Yes, so you use the catch keyword, and then we were gonna have a parameter in here in the round bracket, but let me terminate this. No, let me create another block after this. Then let me add the finally, so that we can have all these three example at a go. Okay, good. So this is also another block. Yeah, the catch is also another block. So it's an open and close parenthesis here. And then let me add the last one is the final. I'm gonna explain it pretty much in a few minutes, and it's very simple. Good. So we have the finally keyword here, and it's also another block, right? So here, open and close parenthesis. Okay. So what can we do in this block? Let me quickly explain this before I continue with this. So in the try is very simple. What you would do here is to what? Is to print out some statement, or we have some logics or conditions in here where this block will help it catch any errors that appears in this print out or conditional statement you write here. So it can be a chunk of code here. Then the catch will be how the errors will be displayed to the user or behind the scene in the log. Good. Then the finally block actually prints out a consistent or constant information you want to show to the user, or any other conditions you want to show to the user, irrespective of the error that actually happens in the try, and then it comes to the block, the catch block. Good. So this is like a constant. It always display whether there is an error here or not. Yeah, so this finally is like constant. Good. So in here, the print, let's look at the print. Let's see, to actually understand this, let me call the list here, and then let's say I append a number to this. Yes, let me do this in a square bracket. Yeah, we have a 2 square bracket here. Okay, so in the square bracket, let's say we want to print out 10 lists. We say list, print out 10 lists, but you should know that we have only 5 numbers in this list. So let's see what happens so that we'll actually get to know what we're doing here. Okay, so let me try this, and this should throw an exception. You see, error compiling, blah blah blah. So this is an exception, so error catch must be what, followed by identifier and all that. So there should be what, there should be a parameter here in the catch, but I left it blank for us to see the error that is going to throw. So if I call the exception here, and then we're using E to denote what, the keyword or the word exception, so that it actually what, catch the error right here. Okay, so let's run this and then let's see what happens on the screen. Okay, so you see here, when I actually added the parameter E, which is in the catch, you see there's nothing here. It's only console. It means it's blank. Why did that happen? Because there is no print out or print what statement here, or any string that will display on the what, on the UI, or display to the user. When you do this, the exception here tries to what, catch the error and then do not print anything. That is what it means here. So this actually denote what, exception function, right in here, exception function or class in here. So nothing print. But if I want to show something to the user, then I'll simply do this print. I can write anything in this print, but I want to decide to use the E because defaultly it has its own what, its own message it can print on the screen. So I click on the run, and then let's see. So it says what, since I printed out the exception here, E, it's showing range error. Then it says what, index, the index out of range, index should be less than what, 5, right, less than 5, not equal to what, 10. So since we use 10 here, and then 10 cannot be printed out because their list is actually 5, not 10. So let's see, what if is 2 here? Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens here in the print out. Okay, so it actually print what, 3 to us, because the condition here is true, because we are saying print out only what 3 what, 3 lists, or number 3 from the list, and then this list actually have the what, the 0 1 2 3, or the 1 is starting from 1 2 3. So after the 2, it's printing this. All right, so next, what if we don't want to print this to the user? We don't want to print just the default what. So let me bring 10 here, just the default what, exceptional string defaultly on the screen. What should we do? We can actually write our own what, our own string in here. So for example, I can write something like this. Let me put this in the parentheses. So I say the number is, right. Then let me see, I can use a string interpolation here. So to use the string interpolation, let me see. Oh no, I need to, okay, oh, dollar. Okay, then let me print this out. So, oh, So let's say this. So you see we have what the number is what this should be the number is what the default what exception what string that has printed. But if I ignore this, for example this, I take out the e interpolation and I say the number should not be more than should not be more than 5, right? Should not be more than more than 5. Okay, so let's see what happens. I left their interpolation and then we see what happens here. You know, this is, you see, so this is actually more readable to the user. Okay, so I type a double H. This is more readable to the user because you say the number should not be more than what 5. That means you have exceeded the number of lists actually in this list variable. Okay, so that is just it for the try and then the catch. What about the finally? Like I explained earlier on, here anything you write in here will automatically display irrespective of the error it throws, or whether the if the code does not also try throws an error, it will still print this. So this is like a default value. It's gonna print to the user whether it is right or whether it is false or true. So for example, so I did 10 here, so let's run this. We're gonna see the done right below what, right below this, like this. Okay, so let's say if it is, this is right. For example, I use the 2 again here and then the 2 again here. Let me see. Okay, then I run. The done is still gonna show because irrespective of what happens, the done will automatically print. So so we say what is 3 and then the done also print on the screen. Perfect. Okay, so now let's see whether we can use a different real life example. Yeah, this was just to demonstrate it very well to you so that you can actually understand. But let's say we let me create a class. Let's say we have a class let me give it a name of so let me start with class keyword, and then the class is gonna have a name of a bank, what, a bank account. So let's say we have a bank account, a class name bank account, and then with this, let me go down. Okay, then inside the bank account we're gonna have a variable that will return the bank, what, the bank account balance. Okay, so double and then I call this balance. Okay, then I terminate this. So we have double balance. What else? Now let's say I'm gonna call the class by its name and then append it to what, a new client which will be used later on. So let's see how I'm gonna do that. Okay, so here I have a bank account, yeah, same name like this. So I have a bank account and then I append it to, let's say, every new client. So bank account dot new client, yeah, new client, and then it's gonna return a double balance. So double, then we say balance right here. Good. Then for the balance, let's say this balance is equal to, I'm gonna code a simple function here. This balance is equal to a balance, and let me do this right. Balance, right? This balance is equal to balance. So this inner function, and I use a simple if to check this as a condition. So if the balance is what is, let's say, is less than 0, okay, then throw an exception. So we're gonna learn how to use this throw. This is like you writing your own code and then throwing an exception. This exception is what user defined what exceptions, whereby you use to check your codes so that you can throw a what a feedback message to your users. So this is very important when you are developing some kind of applications. Good. But some kind of application you don't really need this. You can use the default exceptions to handle your your errors. Okay, so in here we will say the balance cannot, so we're gonna have a figure. So in my mind I'm gonna say the balance cannot. So let's say our balance cannot be what? Cannot be less than 0. Of course, if a balance is less than 0, then something should happen. Okay, so should not be less than 0. Okay, good. Let me end this or terminate this statement. Okay, so now we have the if here, and then we are calling bank account dot what dot the new client, and then we have what, this is just like a parameter that is a double balance, and this double balance is actually referring to this balance here again, right? So this balance, and it's referring to this balance in this variable, and this has been assigned to a simple function with a name balance, like this. And in the what, in the simple function, we have an if checking a simple condition. If this balance or the balance is here is less than 0, then throw an exception that is a manually what error, that it's not an error but a throwback message to the user. So throw exception, and this exception should have this message showing to the user uh the balance cannot be less than what, 0. Okay, so then what next? Let's see how we can actually what implement this. So in the main, let's say we have a variable of the account. So I'm gonna clear this. We have the variable of what, an account. So it's just a variable, and this has been assigned to what, the account.balance.new, which we can find here very easy, and then it's equal to this, right? And then we are going to actually check the balance by typing in the numbers here, since this is going to be manually done, just to check how to implement what exceptions in what in that. Okay, so let's go to the print. We recommend you to watch your other videos if you've not watched our that what series. It's actually easy to understand, and then we do a critical example to actually help you understand every bit of what the that what code. So we recommend you to check our old videos as well. So in the print we have what, account dot the balance. Very easy. So this is very easy, and this can be simply understood. So in our main we have a variable called account, and then for account it has been assigned to the balance dot the new user, right? So every new client who have a bank account should not be less than what, 0. If it is 0, then it should print something to the user, right? So we have the print statement beneath this, that is print account dot the balance, then we terminate it. So here, let's say we have 100. So let's say the new account holder has 100 dollars in his account. So we run that, and let's see what will actually display on the screen. So the account is not 0, so there is no error or exception to show on the screen. So the 100 actually shows. But what if the bank balance is -0? Or let's say -1? It is so crazy, right? Let's use -1. Since we said the balance cannot be less than 0, then this should actually throw an error, and this should be handled here. Okay, so I do this. Okay, so since what? Since this does not meet the condition, and then it is what? False. It actually threw this exception, that is uncatch error exception. The balance cannot be less than what? 0. So this is actually perfect for what? Real life scenario where you want to handle your exceptions and throw it by yourself, and then display a good message to the users when they don't meet what? The conditions. So this is a good aspect of it, and this is actually cool to implement in most of your real life applications. Okay, so if we are done with this, what if we want to customize or actually code our own what? Exceptions, instead of using the default ones that are being thrown by the DAT code or the DAT compiler. Good. So we are here. We have finished the try catch, the final, and then we are moving to what? The custom exception, and then we will use the on along the line. Okay. So let's say we want to do a customized what? Exception handler. So with this same code here above, we're gonna implement the custom one beneath. So let's say beneath our main we have a new class, and that class is gonna be the customized what? Exceptions for us. So for example, I'm gonna name this the zero balance exception. This actually depicts what we are doing here. Okay, you can give it any name. Yeah, nobody cares, but I think you should follow this so that you actually understand what we're doing here. So this is what? Zero balance exception, and this actually depicts the name of the type of exception I'm gonna throw, so I name it according to that. And since it's a customized what? Or exception, you need to make sure it's like extending and what? A class inside the that what? That classes already. So to do that, we need to use what we call the implement. This is how we extend it. We need to use the implement because this is a very unique way of doing extensions. So you use the implement for exceptions. Okay, so implements, then we implementing what? We're gonna implement exception. So this is how it's been done. Okay, perfect. So here we have the block here, and then inside the block, what we gonna do here? Okay, so let's say we have a final keyword, and that final keyword holds the variable, and the variable will return a double what? Double type. So I have the balance here, then I terminate that code. Okay, next we're gonna have a constant, and that constant will help us shoot what? Or print out what we want to show to the user using our custom what? Exception. So I have a constant, and then the name of what? Of our exception, or the name of the class here, and then here what I'm gonna do is to refer back to our balance. So it is gonna be this, to refer back to our balance, like this dot. So no, so in here we say this dot what, balance, right? Okay, so we're referring back to the balance up there, and then we terminate this, refer back to our balance. And then let's say we're gonna have a string here. This string is gonna return our what, our print out statement, which we actually want to display to the user using our own customized words. So here let us use the decorator of override to override the what, the existing what code we have in that, because this is a customized one. So we use the override, and then what are we gonna do? We're gonna print out a string, and that is what we need to show. So string to string, string to string, and then here, so simply like a function returning what, a string. That is this, the literal meaning for this. So string, then in here we're gonna have our words here, or our print out. But how do we print out this? By using the return keyword. Okay, so here the return keyword will be here. Then we're gonna have the what, the parentheses. So for example, I can use the same name of this, and I will say zero balance exception, and then let me put a column here, and I will say balance, 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 right? So balance and a column. Yeah, this looks really good. Good. So balance, let's say your balance cannot be less than what, 0. But we need to actually show this in a very nice way, right? So if I say your balance is, your balance cannot, so let me say your balance cannot be less than 0. Very good. Less than 0. But at least we should show the balance to the user, right? So to do that, let us use the interpolation. Interpolation is using the $, and then what are we gonna call? We're gonna call the balance right here in front of the $, just like this. Perfect. Now the balance will show here before your message will also show after that. Less. This should be less. Okay. Good. So what else? Let me check this well before we print it out. Okay, so now we have this customized what, exception ready to what, ready to be executed. So let me terminate this first. I have terminated it, and then let me see. Okay, all is set. Let me drag this to the side so we can actually see the code. Okay, so I think we are done with the customization. So what should we do here? What we should do here is using the on, all right? So here, okay, let me run first. Let's see what happens on the screen before. Okay, so here we are basically showing what, the balance cannot be less than what, 0. That is right here. Okay, we throw, and then because of this it throws this. Okay, so what if we want to use our customized what, our customized exception? We need to actually throw this class that is our customized exception right in here, instead of throwing the strings right away. So this can be use over and over again in our code. Good. So to throw this, instead of throw exception, I will just delete this and then we place it with our customized exception name, that is zero balance exception. And in here we actually gonna call only the balance, just like this. Okay, so everything is perfect here. But what about here? Here we have the same conditions, but we can we will use the on here. So we have this. Here, since we're gonna use a customized one and we want to implement the try catch, we need to actually wrap around this code with the try catch error, and then we implement the on for us to see how it is being done. So I'll wrap around this code with our keyword, the try, and then the block. So I copy all this. Let me see, I copy all this and then paste it in the try block. Okay, so after the try block, we normally use the catch, but here, since we want to use this customized class, we use on this since we know the error we want to throw, and the feedback we want to give to the client. We use the on, we can use the on or other method, and then just like this, and we can add the catch as well. Then we print it out. So here we say, okay, use this customized exception here, and then we add the catch, and then catch is E in here. Then what are we gonna do here? This is just to show us how it actually works. Okay, so let's do this very quick. Then I print this, print E. Print E is the exception, we already know. Okay, I did this in the first code. So let's print out this and let's see what happens on the screen. Perfect. So since we are using the on this exception class, which we already created down here, right? So it is right here, and this is printing out our balance, right? And this balance is displayed here, that is the -1 because it's here. Then it shows our string, that is your balance cannot be less than less than 0. Perfect. So this is how we actually implement our customized exception. So this is customized exception, and this is really cool to do, so that you can actually handle your own way of printing out exceptions to users. And then you can use the on to call this customized exception. But you can also use the catch. But if you use the catch, then you need to call this in here instead of the E. You get what I'm saying? If you are using only the catch without the on, okay, so if you use that, you see it prints out the correct one here. So you can use the on. We normally use the on if we know what, we know the exact error we are handling, then we use the on, then we can call the exact what, exception name here. So since we know this, we know the errors we are handling, and we have a customized what, exception name, we can call that here. But we have other what, exception name that is being provided by that defaultly. So we normally use the on if we know what, if we know the kind of what, exception that will be thrown in the application. But if we don't know, we use the catch, and then we use the e here for it to actually what, print out or trace it from the what, the that code itself. So it's not, we don't know the error, so we use the catch. If you know the error, you use the on, and then you call the name of the error. Good. So this is the end of the video, and we're gonna upload the other part of the what, of the that tutorial. We recommend you to check our videos and click on the notification button to always get our what, our videos anytime we upload. We say peace, we out.